Well guys, it's been a few weeks, but I'm back and we're going to dive straight into a top 10 list. Let's get going. It's a cosmic horror lineup, and fair warning, if you haven't seen any of these films, this video will spoil their endings, so if you're planning to watch them first, you might want to come back after. Let's fade to black. At number 10 is The Beyond. A woman inherits a rundown hotel in Louisiana, not knowing it was built over one of the 7 gateways to hell. As she begins renovations, bizarre and violent events unfold. People vanish, bleed from the eyes, and the dead start walking. Time and space begin to blur, as if the hotel itself is rotting from the inside out. Lucio Fulci directs it with his signature dreamlike, nightmarish style. Though released in 1981, it oozes that raw, late 70s Italian horror film. Grainy visuals, surreal logic, and abrupt, violent imagery that feels way more like a waking nightmare than a structured plot.
No! No, Shrike! Go away!
The girl that lives in the old house by the crossroads.
Yes!
That house has been abandoned for the last 50 years.
But that's not true. It's not possible.
The final sequence is haunting. The characters run toward freedom, only to step into a barren, ashen wasteland. They've crossed over into something uninhabitable, something final. Their eyes go white and they're swallowed by the void. It's not a twist, it's not really even a climax. It's like the film opens a door to something else and then calmly pushes you through it. At number 9 is The Beach House. A young couple arrives at a remote beach house to reconnect, but when unexpected guests arrive, a strange fog rolls in from the sea and things start to take a turn. People begin falling ill, experiencing hallucinations, and mutating in ways that defy understanding.
Hello?
What is going on?
Something from the water. Oh, please answer. We need help!
By the end, Emily is infected, but she doesn't fight. She kind of accepts it lying down on the beach, looking up at the stars as her body dissolves into the earth. This wasn't the violence, it was the resignation. The idea that when faced with something vast and unknowable, surrender might just be the only human response. At number 8, The Void. Set in a rural hospital surrounded by cultists, The Void begins as a contained horror story, but quickly spirals into something far bigger. Patients begin transforming, reality begins to bend, and an ancient force begins to slowly push through. In the end, the protagonist sacrifices himself to stop it, only to be awakened in a silent alien world under a black sun. The ending left me cold, not because it was violent, but because it offered no answers. It just leaves you, as a lot of cosmic horror does, elsewhere, somewhere beyond understanding. At number 7, Event Horizon. A spaceship designed to travel through black holes vanishes, then suddenly reappears. A rescue crew boards it, only to find that the ship has been to another dimension and something followed it back.
After 7 years in deep space.
There were 18 people on board this ship when it disappeared. I want them all accounted for. This place is a tomb.
But it didn't come back alone.
It's been. I wanted to brought back with it.
By the end, the survivors may escape the ship, but not the trauma or the entity. It lingers in dreams, in fear, and sometimes in reality. This one was unnerving because it doesn't try to define what hell is. It just suggests that if you look too far, if you go too deep into space, you might find something that was never meant for us, and that maybe death isn't the end of pain. At number 6, Come True. Sarah, a troubled teen, enrolls in a sleep study hoping to escape her nightmares. But the study itself seems to trigger terrifying visions, shadowy figures watching her in dreams that start to bleed into reality.
How many of us are in the study?
I can't tell you that.
What are you studying?
I can't tell you that either.
Stage 1. The eyes close. A reduction in activity between wakefulness.
What were those pictures Anita showed me this morning?
Can't tell you that.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Now we wait.
The ending throws everything into question. A cryptic message reframes the entire film, leaving us unsure whether Sarah has ever truly been awake or alive. It's subtle and it's quiet, but it's deeply unsettling. That feeling that your reality might be constructed, that you might be stuck in something artificial, it haunted me long after the credits rolled. At number 5, Annihilation. When a meteor crashes into a lighthouse, it creates the Shimmer, a mysterious zone where nature is rewritten. DNA mutates, creatures evolve unnaturally, and a team of women enter trying to understand it. And at the center, Lena encounters a being that mimics her exactly. Their encounter is more ritual than battle. It's quite odd, it's nothing I've ever seen on screen before, and when she returns, something has changed. When she returns, something has changed. Her eyes shimmer, so do her husband's. The ending really got under my skin. I mean, there's no villain, no plan, just a force that changes everything it touches. And the real horror of it is that the change doesn't care about us in the slightest. We are so inconsequential in every interaction. At number 4, Coherence. A group of friends gathers for dinner the night a comet passes overhead. As the night progresses, they realize alternate versions of themselves are appearing, timelines overlapping, bleeding into one another. One of them, M, tries to leave her broken reality and steal a better one, but the timeline pushes back. The final moment leaves her caught, or worse, discovered. This one made me question things, not in a twisty clever way, but in a deeply existential way. What if peace exists, but just not for you? What if the version of you that made better choices gets to live, and you don't? At number 3, They Remain. 2 scientists are stationed in a remote forest to monitor animal behaviour. The area was once home to a death cult, and though the land is quiet, it just kind of feels wrong. They begin hearing things, seeing things, doubting each other.
Something spooked you, didn't it? I've checked every case study on record. None of them have activity like this.
What do you think our bosses are hoping to find out here? Really?
In the end, one vanishes. The other seems altered, maybe replaced. Nothing is really explained, it just ends. The film doesn't need jump scares, it just has an underlying dread. It made me feel like some places are just infected, and once you're there you never really leave. At number 2, In the Mouth of Madness. John Trent, an insurance investigator, is tasked with tracking down missing horror author Sutter Kane. But Kane's books have begun to warp reality, causing mass psychosis, disappearances, and eventually something far worse.
It's a map. This whole thing has been staged. You just get out. This is not reality.
It's all happening for real, Trent.
By the end, Trent finds himself in a movie theatre, watching the very events of the film unfold on screen, alone, laughing, or maybe having a nervous breakdown. The first time I saw this, I really couldn't shake it. It's the idea that stories can shape reality, and that if enough people believe something insane, well, it becomes true. It's cosmic horror through the lens of media, and it's terrifying. At number 1, The Mist. Based on a novella by Stephen King, The Mist follows a group of townspeople trapped in a supermarket after a strange fog rolls in, bringing with it grotesque, otherworldly creatures. As panic and paranoia take hold, David Drayton tries to protect his young son and escape the escalating madness.
Read the good book. It calls for blood.
The entire front of this store is plate glass.
Promise you won't let the monsters get me.
What are you guys messing with up there?
There were other dimensions. They wanted to try and make a window.
Well, maybe your window turned out to be a door.
The ending is devastating. Stranded in a car with no fuel and no hope, David makes a final unthinkable decision. And then moments later, rescue arrives. Too late. It's a gut punch that lands with surgical cruelty. This one stayed with me for a long, long time after. It's not just the bleakness of it, it's the suggestion that the universe doesn't really care about timing or mercy. Well, there we go, guys. I'm glad I'm back. Let me know in the comments if there are any other kinds of horror or movie lists you'd like to see next. And keep an eye out. The next video is a What the Hell Happened To, featuring a very well-known horror star. I won't say who just yet, but it's a good one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.